Assalamu alaikum everybody, this is your Arabic teacher Sam and a very warm welcome back to the latest video here on the Arabic Sam channel. I pray that you guys are well. As many of you guys know, I spend my early Sunday mornings writing a letter to the very special people who subscribe to my mailing list. If you would like to be one of those special people, you can just go over to my website, arabicsam.com, and sign up for the Arabist Digest. It's a little newsletter. Goes out every Sunday morning. I aim for it to be around 9 o'clock, and I just envisage that it's just the way that all Arabic students spend their Sunday mornings. They just hear some thoughts that I have about learning Arabic and teaching it, and just give some students some insights about programs, tips for studying Arabic. Sometimes we do word of the week or verb of the week or phrase of the week or teacher of the week or something like that, right? Just something that's valuable for Arabic students that they can consume in a couple of minutes. So let's have a look. Okay, let's have a little think about what I talked about this week. So this week I had a bit of a realization, really. This week I had, when I was in London. For those of you who don't know, I was a guest on Islam channel this week talking about teaching Arabic and stuff like that. And I also had the pleasure of having dinner with some brothers who run a project called Arabic Workshop. And they're really big on making Arabic more of a practical skill that we use. Like starting with listening, improving students' listening and having listening materials. But the objective of it is that people who learn Arabic aren't just learning the science of grammar, you know what I mean? They're not just learning it in a technical sense, in a theoretical sense. Their students actually learn to speak Arabic and understand Arabic and actually use it as a living language. And I'm a big fan of what they do. So I was kind of inspired by them a little bit, and I really wanted to just add another element to my program. And I thought, I even remember there used to be a guy, he used to have a channel called The Arabic Student. I don't think he creates content anymore, but I remember I watched loads of his videos when I was doing my degree, and he mainly did dialects videos. He did loads of videos where he'd have like a Syrian TV series or something, and have a little dialogue, a little clip from it, and he'd do a vocab list of all the vocab that was in that little dialogue. He'd go over the pronunciation of it. He'd put like just the details of how to access that conversation. And I thought it would be really good to do something like that for my Arabic in 60 Steps program. And even, like at step 1, where we cover certain grammar and certain vocab, I'd even have like a video lesson like that. And I say, look, this lesson goes really well with that step. That might be step 4 or whatever. For example, like something I created today is like in step 4 of my program, we do, I think it's step 4, might be step 3, that there's some vocab in the vocab list about the solar system. So I found this like little science video that's it's an educational resource that they use in schools in Saudi that's just about the solar system. And it's all in Arabic, obviously. So I've just taken that and then taken out all the vocab. It's like a minute-long video. And students learn like 40 to 50 words in just one of these little lessons. So I'm just going to fill a whole new section of my resources library with that. So so I was a bit inspired by them, really. So today, what I wrote to the students about was theoretical approach versus practical approach. Because I think like most Arabic teachers out there have been trained classically in like an Islamic environment where the objective of Arabic is to understand Islamic texts with great precision, like to understand what exactly is being said. Like the Arabic language in this environment, when you learn Arabic for the Quran and for other Islamic texts, it's like a code. Like you learn this almost very mechanical code for accessing texts. And when students from here in the West, like when we encounter that, it just doesn't match up with our language learning experience. Like generally, if you're from the UK, your language learning experience has probably been quite terrible, as mine was at school, because when we learn French at school and stuff, it's not mechanical and it's not applied in the real world, because we have like 1 or 2 lessons a week and we've forgotten almost everything from the previous lesson by the time the next lesson comes around, if you are even listening. But anyway, so like it's hard for students sometimes to think that it's really like a living language. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard for students sometimes to piece that together, and it kind of made me, so this morning, before I made that point I was going to say, so this morning I got up early, after Fajr I just sat down, I found like 7 videos, just like 1-minute little conversations. Like one of them is, as I said, like a little science video, one of them is a little cartoon, like a Mr. Bean cartoon, another one is a clip from like it's a series called the Omar series, some of you know it, it's a little bit controversial, but we're just using it for the Arabic. The Arabist series, so it's meant to be like pre-Islamic Arabic, it's meant to be classical. Another one that's from like a documentary about a zoo opening up in Dubai, or a safari park in Dubai or something. So I've got all these videos, all these clips that all have their own specific vocabulary and their own specific terminologies, and they're all used for such a variety of different kinds of applications of Arabic. And I just went through them, listened to them, transcribed them, made a vocab list out of them, and I'm just going to make each of those their own individual lesson. I'm adding to the resources library to an area called Skills Builder or Skill Builder, and it's just going to have loads of those in, and I'm planning to have like hundreds of them. Do you know what I mean? I'm planning to have like if I had enough for students to watch one every day for a year, I feasibly think that students could learn like 50 words a day. Like a lot of these videos, like in a minute of spoken Arabic, people often use like 50 words. Like none of these videos are more than like a minute and a half. Do you know what I mean? So if you were to read the vocab list and then see those words actually used in a context, have a few little insights from myself about how you use this verb somewhere else, or, just some usual commentary that I give on language like I do on my channel all the time, I think that will be such a valuable addition to my course. So I was thinking, like, teaching Arabic, we always kind of think about taking a methodology for learning Arabic. We think like, okay, this methodology, this sort of learning Arabic as a science is the right thing to do first, or learning Arabic the same way we learn any modern foreign language is the right thing to do, or learning to speak Egyptian colloquial is the right thing to do in the beginning. Whereas I've sort of over the past few days come to think that maybe Arabic isn't really even just linear like that, like because there is almost such a clear dichotomy between a classical approach to learning a language and like a sort of modern foreign languages approach to learning Arabic, that the two just need to be studied in parallel. Like, rather than just having one approach, we need to have like parallel learning of the two. And I think that will be a really valuable strength to my program, inshallah, that I'm going to start implementing. But for those of you who aren't on the program, sometimes I turn people away. Some people, like, I get people on a call to talk to them about whether my program is right for them, and I'll say to them, it's not really right for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, like I obviously have an objective to, I often say that my kind of mission statement is that when Allah chooses that I die, I want to leave the Ummah more in love with the Arabic language than the Ummah was when I joined it. And really, for me to achieve that, it's not really about me getting people on my program. Do you know what I mean? Like, and if anything, I'll jeopardize that and I'll threaten it if I get the wrong people on my course. So so that's something that I'd like to add to my program, inshallah. So that's kind of the stuff that I talked about really in this week, kind of a theoretical approach versus a practical approach, or do we just have both of them running in parallel of one another? And I think, inshallah, it's going to be a test. Like, I'm going to be testing it and seeing the results of the students and stuff. But I'm excited about it. Oh yeah, that was one thing I was going to say. That was why I mentioned about getting students on my program or not being on my program. For those of you who aren't even on the program, who are on my Arabic in 60 Steps program, you'll still get access to some of those, because every Tuesday I've started a new series just called Tuesday talk-throughs. I do Wednesday walkthroughs. I'm going to do Tuesday talk-throughs, and that's going to be like the videos where we go over some spoken Arabic and we kind of pick it apart, learn some new vocab and stuff like that. This Tuesday I've got the Mr. Bean one coming out for you guys. On Tuesday we've got a little walkthrough of just this little scene in an Arabic version of Mr. Bean, where there's just some basic vocabulary in there. You'll learn some new words, inshallah. So that'd be quite cool. So on Tuesdays, you'll get one of those a week. The people who are in the 60 Steps program, you'll get like 7 a week. Like, we'll do loads of them. And also because, like, I think I am going to need to host that video off of YouTube. I'll do a little video on YouTube, only like 30 seconds long, just to say, here's a little notification for you guys. Hope you guys are well. Click the link below and just go to the video, because on YouTube, we don't really have the ability to put good notes in the description. Like, we can type in the description, but like if you're typing in Arabic, sometimes it's like the font is just too small and stuff. I'd like to just have it bigger and clearer and be able to offer, more kind of decorative help and support for the guys who are using those lessons. So I'll still do a video to tell you what the topic of the video is going to be and stuff like that, so you guys get a notification. But then I'll maybe need to host that Tuesday talk through video off of YouTube, but that's not a problem. You still get access to it for free. I'll make one a week free for you guys. And we'll go forward like that, inshallah. I think that'll be nice, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Because I've definitely enjoyed watching these videos, transcribing them, because you come across some such specific vocab that I would have just never thought about putting into my program. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like the one about the safari park in Dubai. Like, we learn vocab in there, how to say things like threatened with extinction, or breeding programs, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, such specific industry-specific vocab that would be really valuable for you students. But when I'm writing a linear curriculum to go through the 60 steps, I don't think about those terms to include in my vocab. Because then also, like, it's apt really that curriculum has more like scriptural vocabulary in it. It'll have vocab in it that's in the Quran and in the Hadith literature. But then the sort of stuff that we do in the skills builder will have more like just general, secular, I guess, if you want to put it like that, but just like general topics. Do you know what I mean? And it'd be quite nice to have those two running parallel in the 60 steps program. So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. That's kind of there's one more thing that I want to say that I mentioned in the Arabist Digest today. The last thing was this. The last thing was this, is that obviously when I'm teaching the 60 steps, and with any program, right, like even the Medina books and other books like it, you'll go through different concepts of grammar throughout the book. And although they're good, like, I'm not criticizing them, because they absolutely serve their purpose. Like, say you have like a first lesson or first two lessons. Like in my program, it's about doing phrases and then and then sentences. That's what my program does in the first two lessons. And so putting two words together and then putting two words together in a way that makes a sentence. Okay, that's kind of the two steps. You will never in your life find a video that only uses phrases. No two human beings have ever had a conversation where they meet each other and they say, "A nice day," "A good observation," "Nice tea," "Sweet tea." You can't have conversations like that in life. You know, like organic conversations in the Arabic language use such a spectrum of different difficulties of grammar and stuff. Like in some of these conversations, like there was one, well, what's a good example? So the one that I took from the Omar series, okay, so that does have a phrase in it. Ar-rajulul kareem, the noble man, okay, Ar-rajulul kareem, or the generous man. But then it also has like use of verbs that we don't learn until like step 58. Do you know what I mean? Like it also has like I don't know, rhetoric concepts that we get to like really late in the program. Do you know what I mean? So when we try to teach Arabic in like a linear sequence of grammar concepts, it doesn't really align with how you access even the most basic. You know, like you need to wait till the end of it until you access even the most basic sentences. Do you know what I mean? Like it is still a good thing to do because you should still accumulate your knowledge of grammar, and we're talking about like a year of maybe studying grammar, and then after it you know the nuts and bolts, and it is well worth doing that. But it just made me think, like it just made me think how removed that is from you know, in the beginning stages of teaching like a step-by-step accumulative grammar sequence, how removed that is from how Arabic is used in the world. Which is interesting to me. You know, so I think we need both. I think we need both because the only reason why it's a problem is because students just tend to get put off. Like by the time they've done 10 steps and they still don't have all of the grammar that they need to understand a whole conversation in Arabic, people tend to just have a short attention span and don't seem to have the skills to persist so much. It's just a quality of our time. It's just an attribute of the people of our time that we expect kind of, you know, not like instant gratification definitely, but in this case I'm just talking about quick gratification of some kind. Students often have kind of a habit to get maybe one book into a 4-book program like mine and say like, okay, after this one book I don't understand the whole of Surat Ar-Rahman, so the program doesn't really work. You know, I mean, people often have an inclination to do that, but I think if you have like I don't know, with these skill builder videos, I think students have the opportunity to watch a 1-minute video, look at a vocab list, spend 15 minutes with it, and they've achieved understanding that whole conversation. You know, and I think that'll be very rewarding for the students, inshallah. So we'll end on that note. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to let me know by liking it and sharing it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if this is your first time here. If it's your second time here, or your third time here, or whatever, and you'd like to leave me a comment, just leave me a comment. I'll get in touch with you. I'm a nice guy. DM me on Instagram if you want, or message me on Facebook or whatever. Podcast is coming out tomorrow as usual. Tomorrow's podcast episode is going to be about plurals. Plural verbs are neglected and lost a lot of the time, especially feminine plural verbs. The things that people, even native speakers, often slip up on. But we're going to get into plurals tomorrow. We're going to do a plurals workshop in the podcast tomorrow, inshallah. That should be live at 5 o'clock. Podcast should be up at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. It's always on Mondays. We always do podcast on Mondays. And obviously it'll be on all the platforms that it usually is. Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you usually get your podcasts from. And I'll put it up here on YouTube as well. So that's it for the episode. See you guys tomorrow in the podcast. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.